I'm in the middle of a paragraph over here in my print on Kufnan Aleph. V'oid Yoser, and also more. Shuma Fached, Lord Yoser, Shuma Fached afil bezman sheyesh lo. Person that has no Bitachon has fears even at a time when he has no problem. K'mashomar Kosuv, Sadik oichel seva nafshoy, vet mishoyim techsa. Sadik eats and satisfies himself, and the belly of the Rasha is always missing. The belly is always empty. You notice that by the Rosh as the word beten. Beten means a belly. Belly means, in English, when something sticks out. If a sail is caught by the wind, so it sticks out from the pressure of the wind on one side, is called a belly in English. That's the exact translation of the word beten. A woman has a beten, means a belly when she's expecting a child. So even though his belly is full and sticking out, that's what the word means. His belly's sticking out. He's stuffed. He has to open his belt. And techsa is lacking. It's lacking. A tzaddik be'eshi yesh lo, because when tzaddik, when he has, I'm not talking about a tzaddik, I'm talking about a person who's about Bitachon. Then he doesn't worry about tomorrow. There's no chashash about dagging tomorrow. He doesn't want you to worry. He's teaching us not to worry even when you don't have. But if he has, he doesn't worry about tomorrow. And he eats and satisfies himself. For tomorrow he has Bitachon for tomorrow. Tomorrow he'll have Bitachon and have no problems. He doesn't have to worry today about tomorrow. The Gemara says, "Mishiyesh loy, mashiyachal hayoyim, v'doyeg ma yochal hamochar harizeh miktani amuna." If a person has what to eat today, and he worries what we'll eat tomorrow, it's because he's katani amuna. He has very little faith. And this is basically what he's saying over here. Today is good. What do you worry about tomorrow? You can have a Bitachon, or you can also have a different kind of a view about it. Who says we'll be here tomorrow? Who says we'll be alive tomorrow? Maybe North Korea or Iran is going to shoot a rocket over here, and a nuclear that's going to wipe out 3/4 of the country in one bomb. Half the country, 3/4 of the bomb. The bombs that they have today, they haven't used. The one that they used on Hiroshima, and Nagasaki, the atomic weapons that they dropped there. Today the bombs are 1,000 times more powerful than Hiroshima. Can you believe that? Maybe North Korea is going to let us have one. 1,000 times more powerful. Chas v'shalom. That's not true about the Rasha who depends on his own doing. Bitnoi yachsar, his full belly is empty, is missing. When he eats, he doesn't satisfy himself. Bishvil daigus mocher, boicher lakametz ma'yoyim ala mocher. And he chooses to be cheap. The word is not the cheap, but be economical today because of tomorrow. Therefore his stomach is always empty. And he uses later on about Shemitah, we'll see. The person B'teach is always strong in his opinion. mikrim. He's not afraid of anything that will happen. Oichel is soiv anach she'yitz and he's satisfied. Sameach loyil. Shema loy lidoig b'shvil mocha. What does he have to talk about tomorrow? Hari achar sheyesh Darchei Habitachon v'tchoni al Hashem kol hazman mishavim esloi. Today, tomorrow is all the same thing. Hashem heichen tzorcha hayoim, like the Hashem prepared from today. Yochem b'adol l'mocha, prepared from tomorrow. V'iladagas osin klal, doesn't worry about tomorrow. Well, that's what we say in benching. First was hu nois lam chol bosar. Every living thing has what to eat. Every living thing has what to eat. There's no such thing as anything that lives that doesn't have what to eat. Plants have what to eat, otherwise it wouldn't be here. Everything being alive has what to eat. We're also alive. That's one of the chazei Hashem. He set up the world in such a way. The Hashem likes to do chesed. He could have made creatures that they eat only, let's say, till the age of 12, till puberty or something like that, and they don't have to eat anymore. Why do you make a world that you have to constantly eat? Why do you have to constantly eat in the world? You know, let's say a person by the age of 20 is physically developed. His bones are there, his body's developed. Let's say by the age of 20. So why is it be necessary to eat more than that? What are you getting from it? Derech is, of course, you need the vitamins, you need this. Some people overeat, their bodies get bigger and bigger, not taller and taller. What's the reason for that? He gives food to every creature because his world is full of chesed. And with his greatness, kindness, talmid we've never been lacking what to eat. And we will never be lacking. So what's it saying then? It says you didn't worry about, you had yesterday, you have today. I'm the same thing you see over here in Madreigas Ha'adam. He's not saying any chiddush. Derech says we bench so fast we didn't even know what we're saying. Agav, if I may digress a little bit, I was always bothered by the fact that on the ground, on the earth, there are animals that are herbivorous. I like that word. They eat grass and herbs and things from trees. And, of course, there are many animals that are carnivorous. But in the sea, everything's carnivorous. The little fish are eaten by the bigger fish, and they're eaten by the bigger fish still. And they're all eating each other up. So when you say a nice lam chol basar, for instance, so that whale has what to eat. Of course he has what to eat. But where do you see kiyol chastoi? What happened to all the other fish that he opens up his big mouth and swallows? That's how he eats. So what happened to them? Where's their chesed? Where's the chesed to them? There's the chesed. You do chesed, kiyol chastoi. You want to do chesed. You made a world of eating so that you should do chesed and feed them. Like a mother likes to feed a child. Like a bubby likes to feed a child, with candy especially. Nah, mein kind, eat a little more. Here's another candy, a little chocolate. It's a Yiddish meat to feed the kids. Feed them. Stuff them. Take. Maybe you're hungry. Take another one. Put in your pocket. Here. An extra candy bar. You like to do that to a child. That's the way we express our love to children. To children, to grandchildren. Especially grandchildren. So what about those many creatures, thousands, I don't know how many there are in the ocean, millions maybe, that eat each other? Millions probably eat each other, because the sardines eat smaller things, and there are other things eat the sardines. So what happens with all the ones that they eat? Bothered me very much. Long time in kasha. And then I just want to tell you that I believe, just based on the kasha, that the teretz is that those that are eaten feel absolutely nothing. They feel absolutely no pain. They cease to exist, neither with physical pain, certainly not with mental pain, because they have no brain, so they don't even know what's happening. Just pop, the light goes off. And therefore, it's ki'olam chastoi, and the smaller creatures are also having a chesed. And I don't know what the chesed is by them, but they're certainly not having an chesed, not having the lack of chesed. But we should know that, this is not an accident that everybody has to eat and the world needs constant nourishment. It's not an accident. I spoke about it, I wrote about it. It's a very strange thing that the higher, quote, higher, unquote, creatures on the scale of life, the more select his diet has to be. If we evolved from amoebas, so we should have evolved with many things that are much better, much more comfortable. For instance, we should have hooves on our bottoms of our feet. We shouldn't have to have shoes. Don't you think? We should have hoofs. It'd be easier to walk over stones in rocky places. Another thing is we should be able to eat anything. Because roaches can eat anything. They can eat paint. So why can't we eat paint? I pointed out that camels eat sticks, not grass. Sticks. Their bodies take the sticks and make out of it proteins and everything they need to manufacture. Why don't our bodies do that? Aren't we more important than camels? And by us we have to eat a protein and eat this and eat that. All the women know they have to feed you this and feed you that, and you haven't had this and you haven't had this. My wife tells me anyway all the time. And then you take a vitamin supplement, my sister's telling me. It's not good enough for regular vitamin supplement. I should take a prenatal vitamin supplement. I said, Esther, when you look at me, you know it's very tzugapast. That I should take prenatal vitamin supplements because you look at the way my body shape is. But, okay, that was a joke wasted on you guys. You got it? Anyway. Prenatal means pregnant, okay? Okay, that's it. I don't know what prenatal means. Anyway. So that's just an aside about the world being filled with chesed and with a kasha on it, and with a very, I think, a serious possibility of an answer. Now, Hashem heichen tzorch hayoyim yochen ma'ad u'lemocher ve'in le'daigas ha'osid klal u'kamash shekos Rishalmi Mashis Rishalmi Shabbos, and then he goes into this, brings Rishalmi in the Lashon Aramis, and I believe that in your editions has been translated into Hebrew, so you'll be able to check on my translation. See if I translate correctly, because you have it in Hebrew already. Chad Gir, a certain Chad means one ger, a certain ger. Hav Astrologus, he was an astrologer. Chadzman, a certain time. Also he came, a certain time came. Boy Mepak, and he wanted to go out on a trip or something. Omar, he said, Kedoy Nafkin, in a time like this, we go out? His astrology told him it was a terrible, dangerous time, either for him and with his mazel, or for everybody's mazel. At such a time, his astrologer, the night before the trip, he looked up. He had to make a trip tomorrow to Chicago. He looked up at the sky and he said, all planes to Chicago crash. That's what it says. Especially if you're whatever it is, I forgot the names of it, a Gemini. Chazar Umar, he then turned back and said, Klum idabkis bahado umsa kadishta loilam lamafirash mifashabi min elaine milaya. Is there any reason I joined this holy nation if not to separate myself from these kind of things? Neipoik will go out Al Shmo Dabarya. We go out in the name of our Creator. What does it mean, the name of our Creator? We know He's our Creator, and we mention His name in going out. Baruch Shem L'Sholom, Seis Shem L'Sholom. Go out, His name. Trusting in Him, it means. Korev L'Michsach. He came to a dangerous place. There was a lion or some other creature there that would attack him. Yov Lechamra V'Achla. He gave his donkey to the lion, and it ate it. Now that is mentioned in a few places, as it mentioned in Halacha also, that if a Shaira is traveling in a desert and they're being stalked by a lion, we've never had these experiences, gentlemen, but those who traveled by camel across the deserts or by donkey across the deserts have had this experience. The lion stalks them, follows them. The lion's hungry. He thinks human beings are part of that. So what do they do? This is Ayson Aloch it's brought. So every day somebody volunteers to keep the lion fed, quote, and happy. Fed and happy. So if they're riding on donkeys, each one gives his donkey. You know, I cast lots. You give the first day, I'll give the second day. And they keep the lion well fed every night. He has a donkey. They stake the donkey out. Can't run away, and the lion gets him. And the people are safe. You should know, the fact is that the pack of lions attacks a bunch of gazelles or deers, and they bring down one, the slower one, they bring down, or wolves bring them down. The other gazelles stop running. They run very fast, but they stop running. And they start to graze, because they instinctually know that the lions will no longer attack them, because the lions are busy eating up the one that they brought down. That's all. So people will not be attacked if a donkey is given. So in Shulchan Aruch there's an issue. What happens if a guy gave his donkey and the lion didn't eat it? And in the morning you find the donkey there. So who does that donkey belong to? Is the donkey Hefker? The donkey belongs to him? That's what it talks about in Shulchan Aruch. Who does the donkey belong to? Is it Pasha Choshe Mishpat Shaila? Is it Hefker? Is it Avudim Ben Kol Adam? What exactly happens to the din of the donkey? Or he gave it Al Manas? Does it belong to everybody? So the donkey ate it, and ate it. So the Mishami now says, Man Goram Le the Man Gorle the Yipok, I don't know what it says over the Yipal, begin to hear her. What caused him to fall into sakana, that the lion should follow him? Lions are busy sometimes following juicier people. Begin because to hear her, because he had these thoughts. The thoughts caused the lion to be interested in him. Man Gorm Le Dishtaziv, and what caused him to be saved? Begin Disrachitz Abarye, because he trusted in his Creator. You know, we say Beyano Rochas in Birch Shemei. I used to make the kids translate every word of that so they should learn Aramaic. Beyano Rochitz, if you're davening in Israel, probably sing it. Beyano Rochitz, in him I trust. Rochitz. Because he trusted in him. So the Shami takes this thing apart very interestingly. It says, if he had trusted from the beginning, he would never have had the problem at all of the lion. Because he trusted from the very beginning. So look what happens. But he only brought himself to trust later. So therefore, what happened? In the beginning, Hitaka had a problem, because Lumas that he had not trusted in the beginning, so Lumas he had a problem in the beginning. But the problem didn't affect him personally. He came out of danger well, because in the end he had Bitachon. So not only Bitachon, the whole, I would say the whole history of the Bitachon, it must be a better word, the whole history of the Bitachon is understood in terms of, is shown to us in terms of what actually happened. He started off with Bitachon and ended with Bitachon. So the same thing happened, that he started off with a danger, he ended without a danger. That's steht in Yerushalmi. Mamish amazing chiddush. It's a chiddush in Bitachon, because you might think that after all he ended up with Bitachon, so why should I have any danger at all? That's what I would think. I had a pachad before, okay, but then he overcame that pachad. And before he left on the trip, he already had Bitachon. So what I care that he had a pachad before? But the Risham says beferish. What was the reason that he came into danger? Is because he was worried. What's the reason he was saved? It's because he had Bitachon. Isn't that strange? But it's obviously a murder limud that the Hashem handles with a person mida keneged mida. Exactly as the person handles with him, the Hashem responds to him in the same way. Hashem responds to the person the same way so if the person has Bitachon today about a problem of tomorrow, so he's really preventing the problem from coming altogether. If he doesn't have Bitachon today, and tomorrow he gets up and he sees the problem and he works himself up to have Bitachon, so he may be facing issues that are not easy to overcome, but he will in the end be saved. There'll be different responses to the way his Bitachon comes in. Amazing, it's just amazing, absolutely amazing. I want to interrupt myself again, as I usually do, and say there's we'll see later on, Mr. Hashem will get there, that he brings the well-known mimer of Hashem Tzilcha. Rabbi Hashem is your shadow. Hashem Tzilcha Yad Yaminecha. Hashem Tzilcha, Rabbi Hashem is your shadow. So the mimer is, that Mahatzel Hazeh, just like shadows. If you show him 5 fingers, the shadow shows you 5 fingers. If you show him 1 finger, it shows you 1 finger. So the same way as the Baruch Shalom, the way you act with him is the way he acts with you, exactly. Hashem Tzilcha. He brings it down. He says, K'masher Omer Chazal. Now as much I don't, without a computer, but I have 3 volumes of Mamori Chazal. I looked for, I couldn't find it. Then in the new editions, in your edition, is going to say this in a shaluah, and I did check that shaluah on it. It's not precisely the same. So where that came from, I don't know. It was a lost mimer, and I saw a quote in a lot of places. I have some notes on it I wrote on the side of the page. Where does it come from? Who? Yeah. I don't know where it is. I wrote it down here. Where the research that I did on it. But anyway, to get back to this, the fact itself, however, is precisely illustrated by this Yerushalmi. Because the person was first fearful, then he had Bitachon. So therefore, in response, the Baruch Hashem first gives him what to fear, and then frees him. It's mamish precisely Hashem Tzilcha. Except it's not the same words as Hashem Tzilcha. There are certain things brought in Rishonim that we don't know where to find them in Chazal, and they might be lost someplace, because we lost many volumes of Yerushalmi, as you know. There might be that Yerushalmi. Rashi quotes Yerushalmi, so we don't have. And there are maybe other things that have been lost to us. Not because we lost a lot of Zachen through the Gauls. Not because we lost it. Because the robbers with the big crosses took it from us. I was just thinking to myself today, about the great burning of this Sforim, Shas and Sforim in 1240 in Paris, when they burnt all those Sforim, handwritten Sforim. And who knows what treasures were there beside the handwritten Shas, with different girses, but who knows what treasures were other Sforim, other Masechtas that we don't have, that are gone forever. Beside the fact what they did to Tkufas Rishonim ended, Tkufas Abavitesis ended, and there was no Sforim to learn it. But who knows what's Sforim that we don't have, that were there, that were burnt. Who knows? And this, but it's well known. It is a well-known thing that there is such a mimer. So we'll see. He says Gomer Chazal, but it doesn't give a mocker, and you will not give a mocker either.